I'm Peabody Deadbolt. That's not important really, except to Mrs. Deadbolt and the little Deadbolts, my insurance agent, and some guy from the FBI who keeps calling it all hours of the day and night. But that's not why I'm here, and that's not what we're going to talk about. No, it's a subject that's close to my heart, and I expect close to yours too. Nacho production in America. By the way, I'm going to be using the words duodenum and esophagus later on in this program. If you think there's some young ones around who ought not be listening to that kind of thing, maybe you better send them on up to bed right now, huh?
Most admirers of the calcium-laden spheroid know that nachos were brought to this country by King Asket Sjuhorn of Norway in the 3rd century BC. What few realize is that there have been important changes in nacho production technology in recent years.
Yes, if you looked in the glove compartments of each of these cars and trucks here, you'd find recipes for nacho production. But only one of these automobiles has a secret report in the glove compartment which discusses the ancient Etruscans and lignite and chromium basalt. I don't know which truck or car it is, so we'll just take it from there. Without this little piece of lignite, a nacho would resemble nothing more than a hot dog, a bottle of lasagna, or some cream sauce packed in foam rubber. This is a nacho factory in Omaha, but that's putting it mildly. Truth be known, this is where most of the nachos in the free world are produced. I'm pretty excited to be here, and I guess you are too. I want to say a few things about the factory, but first I think we should move in just a little bit closer and check something out. There. Down here, you see it? That grill work? Nacho fumes are filling the air right now. And that means that the workers are producing nachos for shipment to West Germany. I can't tell you how I know that. I have sources inside the building. By the way, all of these nacho producers here are unionized, which is not true of the people at home who produce them with loving care. There's the bell. That means today's nacho production is going to stop for just a little while as these boys head downstairs for, you guessed it. This is the world's largest lignite tree. And it follows from that, I guess you figured this out, this is the source of the raw material for most of the nachos in the entire world. This area, this tree specifically, is heavily guarded. I'd like to show you pictures of the guards, but they're so unfriendly that they won't let me near them. Common to all nachos is chromium basalt. And here we have some very rare footage of some workers planting a field of the chromium basalt. And in fact, there's a truck that's just driven up with even more. This is really exciting for me to be able to capture this on film. I'm going to try to go up now and get a picture of the chromium basalt particles as they're being put into the ground. You can hear the sound of the electric planters in the background, and you can see it right here. The chromium basalt that was invented by the Etruscans so long ago and added to the original recipe for nachos that was received by those Etruscans from creatures from outer space, or at least that's what the drawings on the walls of their caves seem to tell us. Right behind me here is the house where Gerald Ford, Nelson Rockefeller, and Richard Nixon met in 1956 to discuss America's future nacho shortages. You know, they were right. There came a time, in 1963 to be exact, when the free world virtually ran out of nachos. And at the time, people considered using substitute materials like these. This is the Hamilton Syntrex downwind extruder. In the 1960s, scientists were convinced they could harness the raw materials and power contained in these little suckers to produce nachos that were good enough to fool even the most hardened consumer. They were wrong, of course. This is the goat-sized tree of pelvic discontinuity. At one time, scientists thought they could crush these particles in the leaves, which I'm going to show you, in order to create an ersatz nacho product. Now, as it turns out here, the leaves were much too brittle, and they also contained radon. Therefore, the various agencies in the government that are responsible for monitoring that said, no way, Jack, real nachos or no nachos. Finally, there's the 5-leg heater dome. Now, this showed real promise. The scientists at Notre Dame I've mentioned earlier were amazed that they could duplicate a lot of the properties, of the nacho and some of the graphic irregularities. The problem was that these babies didn't taste anything like the real thing. Around town, I wanted to show you this building here where all of the engineering decisions on nachos are made at the present time. And I mean all of them. The headquarters of the Nacho Texture Committee. They meet twice a week, except during certain holiday seasons. This is a very modern building where people from all walks of life get together to share their insights, their recipes, even their stories about nacho production. It's well populated, I guess you know. People are filling this place up from, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning when it opens till 10 o'clock at night when it closes. You just can't beat the feeling you find here and in places like this all over the United States. You can't beat that feeling. I've tried to. That pretty much covers what I wanted to say about King Nacho, except for this one thing. Every now and then I hear people say that our national obsession with the nacho is sick, somehow depraved, immature. To those people I say, what are you talking about? What are you driving? And what are you driving at?